I would like to introduce myself, and not because I love to talk about myself, which I really do, but because one way or the other, telling what I do has a lot, it's pretty much related to the strategy we're using in La Nación, in how we tackle the future, or what we do believe the future is. So first of all, my, let's say, operative job is I work as a as a managing director for La Nación Digital. La Nación Digital is a business unit of La Nación, which is a newspaper, as probably everybody here knows. It's a very old newspaper in Argentina. And I'm in charge of the business unit that makes money out of digital content. Basically, of course, we have lanacion.com, which is our main site, national news, and then a sports portal, and then we have magazines. I have a second job too, which is I'm a board member in Dritco. Dritco is a company owned by La Nación Group, focused in online classifieds. And I sit there at the board. We have brands like Zona Jobs, which is in jobs, real estate, Zona Prop, cars, De Motores, and dating. Unlike La Nación, which is pretty much an Argentine company, Dritco is a regional company. We're in 6 countries in what we call Spanish Latam, and expanding to Brazil and Spain this year and next year. And then I'm on the board for a third company called Covediza, which once again is from La Nación, and it's a company pretty much related to everything that has to do with direct response. Started as a direct sales company and evolved into what we call direct response. And we have businesses as a contact center. We have a benefit club, which is called Club La Nación, which pretty much is a kind of a membership that gives you lots of discounts whenever you subscribe to a product, which can be the newspaper or magazines or digital products. And then we have our daily deals, which is a copycat of Groupon. Everybody does, so why shouldn't we? And then we have e-commerce. Club Bonvivir is wine by subscription, and Starphone, which is kind of an e-commerce operation. So pretty much this is what I do. And I used to think that I did all this because I was very smart and cool, and my wife told me that I was the only one nerd enough to take the job. So, because I'm working here a lot in the product and technology part. The phrase in there is an anecdote. I remember when I was a young boy and democracy was going back to Argentina, there was this political TV show, and there was this very young and eager politician, and he was asked something, and he started answering, "I believe." And this old-timer, very grumpy politician said, "Don't tell me what you believe, tell me what you know." And I think that this is a very good piece of advice whenever you come to talk about the future of Latin American media or internet or whatsoever. It's what probably in management they call facts, not assumptions, because sometimes we get lost in assumptions. So I would pretty much focus on the facts and not on the assumptions. And fact number one, maybe it's kind of very straightforward to everybody, but internet is a disruptive technology for media business, and you will be amazed how many people don't realize this. Fact number two, disruptive technology changes the value proposition in any industry. And I think that the concept of value proposition is seldom brought into the discussion, and value proposition, in my opinion, and the way we do businesses, is kind of central, because at the end of the day is what people take out of what you do, and your success is pretty much related to providing a good value proposition. Some companies, whenever technology disrupts their old value proposition, are able to come up with a new value proposition, and they are successful. And I think that Encyclopedia Britannica, as you see in there, has been successful. Actually, they stopped publishing their paper edition, I think it was a couple of months ago, and they started in, I think, 1981 or 1980 was the first time they tackled the digital edition with a CD-ROM. So this is one company that was able to provide new value. This is another company which probably didn't, and I can talk about this company because I worked 6 years in there. Definitely, yes, I was playing violin on the board of the Titanic. Unlike DiCaprio, I was kind of a little less cavalier, and I sneaked into a boat and I survived, and I am right now kind of the sequel of another industry facing digital transformation. But the thing is, you wouldn't imagine the immense, let's say, you wouldn't imagine the kind of denial you found up in Kodak that, as everybody knows, is having a rough time. I worked there for 6 years as a marketing director for what they call Other Latam, which is everything except Brazil and Mexico, which is kind of the polite way of saying we only care about Brazil and Mexico. But anyway, the thing is, I remember a phrase which was, I mean, you went from a value proposition, and let me see if this is, no. Oops, sorry. The value proposition initial of Kodak was you press a button, we do the rest. A beautiful value proposition. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, many, many years ago, people didn't know the technology of photography, so someone came, our friend Eastman, and said, you press a button, we do the rest, and you get whatever you want, which is your picture. The value proposition of Kodak was share moments, share life. Then digital came over, and someone said, a picture is not a picture until it is printed. And you say, why? I mean, there were millions of people sharing their pictures as a wallpaper in the phones in the early ages, remember? And now millions of people sharing in Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, you name it. So lots and lots and lots of executives choose to believe that the value proposition of Kodak had to do with the paper, the glossy finish, the stuff, and whatsoever. And basically, when you look at the answers they gave to digital, they were terrible. I mean, they went to a thing, and I was co-responsible for such a catastrophe, called Ultra Photos, which was make your picture bigger because we're going to earn 50% more money because we're going to sell you more. If you go from 4x6 to 5x7, we get to make 50% more of paper, which is, of course, what photography lives from. And that was a value proposition. For example, then they came up with another idea which was quite disturbing, which was, okay, yes, rich people, I mean, advanced first world markets are going digital. Now, third world markets, emerging markets, whatever you want to call them, are going to go into photography, people that were not penetrated by photography before. So they came up with this crazy idea that poor people were going to go into photography because rich people were moving from film to digital. You know what poor people did in places like poor people in Brazil, in Argentina, Latin America, India? What they did is families got together, they bought one digital camera because basically they knew that they used that camera only once or twice in special occasions. So they bought a digital camera in between 5 to 10 families and they share it. That's basically the answer to the value proposition that the executive did. You know very well the story of Kodak. So going back to value propositions, I would like to share with you this very harsh and very kind of let's say, disturbing quote from a guy called Seth Godin. He's kind of a digital guru, and many people read his blog, and he's kind of very cool and hipster and whatever. And even though I don't agree with this phrase, I usually put it on my desk to understand the kind of risk I'm taking working in this business. And this guy says in here that basically newspapers are 2 cents of journalism wrapped up in 98 cents of something which is not valuable. And I don't agree with him. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that newspapers have been able to provide a very strong and good value proposition throughout the years, basically what we call the golden ages. And that value proposition is not always related to, there you go. It's not always related to information. I mean, there are things about information. You got breaking news. Probably they were taken away by the cable or radio long ago. You got news curation. News curations, or let's say, selecting and understanding what you should read, in my opinion, is not something trivial. I mean, in the digital and the paper business, selecting from thousands and thousands of stories is a very good value that we have to cherish and we have to work on. Then again, you have things related to services, your classifieds, your deals, your coupons, sweepstakes, promotions. Then again, in terms of practicity, I don't know if practicity is a word in English, but anyway, being practical, if you may. But then again, in terms of being practical, a newspaper is portable, it's kind of cheap, you can take it everywhere. There are places, and believe me, unlike the Metro in New York, where you can read your iPad or your Kindle Fire or your Kindle or whatsoever, in Latin America, at least in Buenos Aires where I live, where you don't want to pop up your brand new shiny iPad 3 in the subway or in the public transport. So, I mean, one way or another, these are values that people don't take in account and that newspapers provide. And there's another value which people tend to outsee in a newspaper. It's on demand. I mean, you read it whenever you want. I mean, it's you need to read the news whenever you're going to your work, you pick it up and whatsoever. The thing is, lots of values in here, but suddenly, wow, along came the internet with all these beautiful logos you see in there, and what happened? Wow, changed the value proposition. And at the end of the day, what we as an industry, and sorry, I was supposed to talk of the Latin media, I'm focusing on newspapers because it's where I work and the industry I know better. But the thing is, basically what happened is that a lot of value was taken from the value proposition we suggested to people. And probably you can tell what the companies are. Of course, we lost community to Facebook. We lost breaking news, as I said before, to Google News and cable or whatsoever. We lost the classifieds to career builders and Craigslist and such and such. The thing is, naked truth. At the end of the day, what happened was that. I mean, you fail to provide a good value proposition, and basically your revenues come down. And this is the naked truth in terms of disruption of what has happened to newspapers. Internet disruption has happened, and the business has been irrevocably altered. So if you take a look in there, basically for every dollar we're making in digital, and this is a US industry, we are losing 7 in print. So this is something we must face. And fact number 3, and probably something Kodak didn't do very well, the only way to survive disruption is understand the value you need to deliver and shape your organization accordingly. And unluckily, like Metallica says, sad but true, it will be painful. So this is basically what I do believe we should do in terms of where should Latin media go. And believe me, I work in a newspaper and I'm in touch with lots of newspapers, and they are not so, let's say, sure about that it is value to your audience, value to your advertisers that shape your organization. Basically, it works the other way around. If you look at many, many places, they will say, I have these newsrooms that is able to produce this and this. I have to find a way to get this to the people and make money out of it. When the question is, do people care about that in this new environment with the new rules? So where should Latin media go? Basically, the do-nots are much more clear than the do's. I'm sorry. I mean, I wish I could be here telling you lots of do's where we should go, what we should do. But the thing is, right now, we have more do-nots than do's available. If you want my strategy or what we are doing, we're basically profiting from the time window of opportunity you usually get from things happening faster in, let's say, the central markets or whatever. Thanks probably to the distance, to the size, who knows, career builder is not as strong in Argentina or in the Latin American region as it is in the US. So basically what we do is we look at the big guys, you know who the big guys are, we try to learn from their mistakes and we try to figure it out how are we going to face the future when career builder or someone else is as strong as that. So my basic, let's say, strategy in here is avoid what I call 6 frequent sins of digital transition for media companies. And if you take a look at history, the bigger the company, the higher the frequency of these sins, or the higher their tendency to go into the sins. So let's go to the sins. Sin number 1, cold feet, or also known as denial. And if you take a look at the history of classifieds and how the papers lost the classifieds business here in the States, probably you will know that. And that is taken from some article, but basically there is a dilemma that giants won't eat their young. Basically, as an industry, I do believe that if you have cold feet in taking very painful decisions, probably you will end up worse. I remember last year ago, I was in Spain. We were talking about the classified business with a very big company in there, media company, and it's one of his top executives told me, we were talking about a partnership whatsoever, he told me, we lost 100 million euros EBITDA, not revenue, and we don't know where, to whom, or how. And that was basically let's say a very impressive confession of denial. My advice, my do to this do not. My do is basically if someone is going to take your revenues, it better be yourself. And that's what we did in La Nación, creating Dritco, which is an online classified company which was built totally separately, independent, and basically fighting for revenues, and Dritko didn't care if the revenues came from La Nación or whatsoever, because at the end of the day, someone else was going to take them. And remember, you're playing by new rules. And when I mean you're playing by new rules, once again, remember value. Nobody cares about your bundles. If you go to the market and you say, you will get 5 paper classifieds if you get this digital package, are you providing value? Is that enticing to anybody? Take that in account. It doesn't. If you take in account that you're doing digital to help the print survive, probably you're going to fail in both. This is my favorite, newsroom and product egocentrism. We are egocentric companies. So basically, we news companies believe that are kind of in the middle between God and human people with some certain magical touch. The thing is, don't fall in love with the newsroom. I've seen excellent column writers turned into lousy video web presenters. So once again, new rules. An excellent column writer is not a video presenter or anchorman. I mean, it takes a lot of talent to go in there. It's a different way of communicating with people. Don't fall in love with your product. Sometimes I usually say that we build websites from the newsroom to people or from the database, and in here I'm as guilty as charged, being a nerd, and you love the features and the geeky thing and the geeky stuff, and at the end of the day, question yourself, is this providing any value to people, or I just want to do it because it's nice? And because I have a beautiful DBA in there working, he knows a lot. And we tend to go over geek and, let's say, fall in love with our CMS and spend hours and hours and hours understanding what functionality we're going to give to the publishing part, let's say to the back office, which is the interface with the newsroom, and not so much time thinking of the front end, which is people looking at our product. So my do's in this do not, they're don'ts, actually. Don't let your status quo determine your value proposition. If you have an excellent newsroom providing an excellent paper, okay, make money of that business. If you can, figure it out, but don't believe that that excellent newsroom is going to be an excellent online newsroom, but because probably it won't, because it takes different talents. Don't fall in love with your CMS, with your product, with your technology. Don't fall for geeky stuff. And at the end of the day, always remember that the product you have, the newsroom you're able to ensemble, is a consequence of the value proposition you're giving and not the cost. So first the value proposition, then you build, and not the other way around. Another one, the paywall marriage. This is kind of very trendy right now, trending topic in Twitter. Everybody goes paywall. The advertising strategy failed, so we're going to go paywall. And there's even a book in there written by this guy, Richard Toffel, that says that basically there is an original sin in the American newspaper industry, and that's why they gave the future away, because they failed to charge content when the web was new. And even though this theory is very beautifully wrapped and stuff, I don't think it's true. And basically, I don't think it's true because at the end of the day, newspapers never got their real money or their EBITDA out of subscriptions, but out of advertising. So basically, this theory is failing to see that part. And even though you have the privilege to become a paywall, which is the other part of this paywall marriage, which is people are willing to pay for something that has value. I mean, they're not willing to pay for the commodity thing you get out of AP or any news agency. We are not The Economist. I mean, I wish I was The Economist. The Economist does great because they have great stories, great storytellers, and a lot of value. So if you're going to put a paywall, you should be aware of what you're selling. But even if you're able to succeed with that paywall, I don't think that, going back to the fact too of the advertising revenues, that will avoid you from rethinking your company. I mean, you're not going to get the money enough. So basically, my doing here is don't fall in love with the paywall concept. Probably salvation is not there either, and probably you should focus more in trying to see people registering to your site, interacting with your site, and getting out some value in building a relationship more than just charging them. Direct response imitation. I think I'm running out of time, so I will go quickly. I think that we have copied lots of things from Amazon, from eBay, because we were the first digital people to succeed, and we're doing mistakes. Basically, the mistakes we're doing is we are copying models that work very well with Google search, but don't work in our display advertising. Don't fool ourselves. Internet advertising is almost there. I mean, the dollars are there. The thing is, we're not getting the dollars. We, the news industry, other people are getting the dollars. So whenever it comes to advertising, don't keep on moaning that, internet is not getting the advertising you need, the marketing mix is wrong, or whatsoever, the money is there. The thing is, we have to learn how to deliver new added value formats, rich media, content marketing, and things that, once again, gives value to the people. Believe me, this is sad and true once again. No one clicks on a banner, and the better the content, the lowest the CTR, because people are focused, their eyeballs are on that beautiful content that takes a lot of money to produce, and you have to pay high salaries to the people producing it. So you have this dilemma: the better the content, the lowest the CTR. Don't go for the CTR race. The CTR race is a race for transactional models, and we are content. So that's another sin you shouldn't commit. And definitely, you should focus in the branding solutions, not the transactional. Google is always going to beat us in the transactionals. Sorry, I mean, let's face it, that's the truth. Google has what I call harvesting of purchase intention. Someone wants to buy something and search in there, and there is an ad, they will click. No one is thinking of buying a washing machine when they are reading a column about the political stability of Greece, believe me. So no one will click on that ad. Branding is what we need, and we need agencies to help us out in here, because they are, once again, complices in not providing branding solutions or not helping us to provide branding solutions to advertisers. Another one, boxing Mike Tyson. I mean, play chess with him. You're going to, he's going to knock you out. What do I mean by boxing Mike Tyson? Do everything pure play internets do, but worse, with a worse value proposition. And just believe it, that we can do it, because we used to be big. And the thing is, many media companies still live in the fact that we are the #1 publisher of Spanish content in the world or whatsoever. And I say, okay, great for that. That means that you will be able to succeed in a self-service advertising platform. And I mean, we did it. La Nación did it. We had Danuncis 2 years ago, self-service advertising. Guess who we were fighting with? Google AdWords. Guess how it ended. So the thing is, another one here, beautiful. Hey, everybody's going video. Okay, let's make a video portal. Guess who we were fighting with? YouTube. So guess how it ended. We took a bunch of people to do beautiful columns you see in here, beautiful videos about kite surfing or whatever that is that nobody wanted to see, and at the end of the day, our library of video was about, I don't know, 0.1% of this in here. They had tremendous bandwidth, all the formats you want, everywhere. So at the end of the day, what we understood is, if we're going to do videos, and right now we're doing that, is try to provide some value. What value can we provide compared to Facebook? Well, we're doing the 10 videos that will explain your day, the 10 videos that will enlighten you in terms of information. There's only 10 videos, not a whole. If you're going to go for the dancing cat or whatsoever, go to YouTube. If you want to see 6 videos that are going to tell you what happened today and basically help you out with your day, come to us. And that's pretty much the kind of approach that I believe we should be doing. We did it many times, and we're doing constantly. I mean, we're doing constantly things. And my doing here, if you're going to do it, if you're going to fail, fail fast. Don't be cold feet in understanding that probably you're doing something, and it turned out wrong, shut it down, move on. Because if not, you end up failing big. Tablet, paper replica illusion. Tablet, iPad, Android, whatever you want to name it. Great product. I use it a lot. I love it. Probably I use it a lot, and I love it because I love the newspaper, and I was used to, I'm 47, I was raised reading a newspaper. I'm practically sure that people that are not reading your paper newspaper are not going to go for the paper replica. So at the end of the day, the paper replica is an excellent product. It's a very handy, and it provides value to a reader of the newspaper. I'm not sure it will get you new readers, and I'm not sure that the readers of the paper replica will be willing to pay the same price they paid for your paper. So beware of that. It's nice to have it. We have it. It's called La Nación. I hope that we don't fail in there, but it's not salvation once again. It's not because the iPad is here, everybody is going to read magazine flip type your products once again, and we will be able to sell this very high value advert, full page advert, avisos, whatever. Once again, remember, new games, new rules. If you want my opinion, the guys which are setting the benchmark right now in the tablet arena are definitely Sight and Flipboard. Young people are going there to consume information. They have a beautiful user experience. Probably Sight, they have even this kind of intelligence that picks articles for you or whatsoever. These are the guys setting the benchmark. If you're going to go to the market, which is something which is a value proposition below that, rethink it. Because, as I said before, they are putting your benchmark in there. And what should Latin media do? As I said before, I'm sorry to be so repetitive, build a new value proposition for audience and advertisers. And that's the only thing, or the only good advice I can give here today. I usually see this as a kind of a fight between this guy, nerdy guy here, called Value Man, fighting a legion of supervillains in this kind of quest for value. And the supervillains are Dr. Convergence, which is a very wicked man trying to convert excellent paper newsrooms into mediocre online newsrooms, because I have the paper newsroom and I have to use it. And my point in there is make money out of paper newsroom from paper, and don't think that it's going to be your salvation in online. Captain Bundle, and this is my favorite one in terms of commercial. We're going to have this 360 approach, and we're going to sell everybody. News, magazines, papers, events, banners, and all things bundled together. And what if I don't want all things bundled together? No, you have to want them, because this is the 360 approach, and my value is because I have lots of media. Lady Past Glory, as you see, techie serial copier, you copy everything. I mean, you wouldn't imagine, for example, I don't know if you know a tool called Cover It Live, where you can put lots and lots and lots of feeds of Twitter. So, wow, Twitter is a new thing. So you go in there and you put Cover It Live and say, we're going to cover this match with Cover It Live. And you have 17 people tweeting at the same time, the same thing in a match. Goal from Argentina, goal from Brazil, goal from Brazil, goal from Brazil. And at the end of the day, you are intoxicating people with information. You're not providing value because what? Tweeting is trendy. Same thing with blogs, Storyfied, you name it. In our company, we have this kind of Chinese wall strategy, our company being La Nación, where basically we focus and find the value proposition in each business, and we have what we call this Chinese wall, separating each business, and each business has to have autonomy, independent decisions, specializations, focus, no interest of conflicts as a result of this separation, scarcity. We are poor, we're just starting from scratch, and we need to survive. Scarcity. We are not that big wealthy company. We have this urgent need to survive, and basically 100% responsible of your future in the company that you're working for. You don't expect for the other one to subsidize you in terms of whatever, people, revenues, or whatsoever. So I'm sorry that I'm making, let's say, prensa of my organization. With this approach, we were able to show that the newspaper and the magazines are still alive and kicking. This is our new newspaper circulation. We've grown up something like 47%. You cannot see the 47 because of the colors in about 4 years, and we are selling 360,000 copies to 250 copies. Basically, oh, sorry, there, 44%, basically because we were able to put this Club La Nación thing I told you. We grew with Club La Nación, this membership card associated to the subscription. So I think that there is something you can do with the paper. Finally, I don't know if many people are aware, La Nación a couple of weeks ago actually bought Impremedia, which is a group of newspapers here in the US. And when Marcos invited me here, he invited me, provided that I talked a little bit about what the Impremedia future will be and our plans will be. And basically, I didn't want to put the Impremedia name first, but what we believe we should be doing is all of the learnings I've shared with you today, all of the best practices we do daily in our companies, even if newspaper, magazines, events, we have events in La Nación like this one, digital contents, online classified or direct response, share them, apply them, and try to transport them, export them to Imprimedia. So that's pretty much the way we are seeing. I don't have much more than that to say because it's only been 3 weeks since we took over the company, but basically what we are trying to do is humbly try to export some Argentine success, and I mean humbly because we're known for being very boastful and bocones, big mouths, to the Imprimedia operation. We do believe there are lots and lots and lots of opportunities in there to just kind of replicate things that we did in the past. So that's pretty much my presentation.